53 years. 53 years. That's how long it's been since the last time we saw the New York Knicks raise up the NBA championship on a team that was led by Walt Frazier. Now, to put it into a bit more perspective for you guys, especially a lot of you young guys, which, you know what I'm saying, I'm not that old, but I'm not exactly fresh 20, but the last time the Knicks won a championship, they had one of the greatest coaches of all time on their team in Phil Jackson. And to put it into more perspective, Phil was not coaching at this time. Phil was a 6'8" power forward out of North Dakota, aged 28, playing for the New York Knicks. Now, for those of you wondering and who are not that quick with their math, Phil Jackson is currently 80, turning 81 on September the 17th. The last time the Knicks won a championship, this man was still playing and was fresh into his NBA career before even turning 30. Whereas when we look at the San Antonio Spurs, it's 12 years. It's been 12 years since we've seen the San Antonio Spurs raise the Larry O'Brien trophy, and ironically, the last time they raised it, they were led by none other than Tim Duncan, where the finals MVP was obviously Kawhi Leonard, because ladies and gentlemen, they managed to defeat the big three of the Miami Heat, and LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, and forced them to disassemble because soon after that, LeBron James immediately went back to Cleveland. Wade had a few more seasons in Miami before he became a journeyman before retirement, and obviously Chris Bosh had to retire due to medical ailment. Now, those are two different legacies. One team hasn't seen a victory in nearly half a century. The other team has seen a victory just over a decade ago. But these two teams are more intertwined than you can really believe, because I'm going to tell you something funny. The Knicks might have not won a championship in 53 years, but they have been to the NBA Finals in the past 27 years. During the 1998 to 1999 season, the New York Knicks managed to make it to the NBA Finals, where they lost 4-1 to guess who? The San Antonio Spurs. Ironically, facing the San Antonio Spurs and losing to their second-year man in Tim Duncan, who was the Finals MVP. Now, the irony of this is that the Spurs find themselves in a similar situation this year, with the Spurs being led by their third-year big man who has proven that he is a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama, whilst the Knicks also find themselves in the same situation in that the last time they won a championship, they had a small guard who managed to lead them to victory, and right now, as you know, the New York Knicks are being led by none other than Jalen Brunson, who seems to be on a burner, because throughout these entire playoffs, the New York Knicks have found themselves in a situation of going on an 11-game winning streak. They have swept their last two competitors. When it came to the Atlanta Hawks, they won Game 1, lost Game 2, and lost Game 3, but eventually found their groove and found themselves in a situation where they took every game. Whereas when you look at the San Antonio Spurs, they faced their little nicks and knacks here and there, taking the Thunder to 7, obviously facing the Timberwolves within 6, and just generally having a little bit more of a rut. Now, the thing to really compare here is, last year, had you made at the end of the season a debate on who you believed would be in the NBA Finals, there would have been some votes for saying that the New York Knicks would make it to the finals, just because last year was a half-decent year for them. For those of you that are unaware, the 2024 to 2025 season ended fairly good for the New York Knicks with a 51-31 record. Obviously, they had Karl Anthony Towns, newly acquired, Jalen Brunson, the duo that looked like they were semi-unstoppable, with a great offensive rating, with the team finishing with a net rating of plus 4.2, which allowed them to be top 10 in the NBA, and an offensive rating that was number 5 in the NBA overall. Now, during their playoff run, they managed to beat the Pistons in 6, the Celtics in 6, and then unfortunately, when Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers got it going, they lost to them within 6. Now, this was their first Eastern Conference Finals appearance since having lost to the Spurs, but generally, this was a great season for the Knicks. The only issue for them was, what's that next step? What's the next push to get you over the hump? Obviously, head coaching movements allowed them to get themselves over the hump, and now they find themselves in the finals. Whereas for the San Antonio Spurs, it was Victor Wembanyama's second year. No one expected anything from the team, because first off, the team finished 34-48, finishing them 13th place in the West. They missed both the playoffs and both the play-ins, and whilst it was a dramatic improvement in standings from the year before where they finished 22-60, it still was somewhat of a showcase where you saw development. You thought this was a young team who later on in the future they were going to be the guys, but at this moment they weren't meant to be. Victor Wembanyama obviously showcased how much of an impact he was on the floor, but he wasn't someone who we were screaming MVP, MVP, MVP. But the one honorable thing that we got to mention here is rookie Stephon Castle was showing how he could really play. Obviously, the Spurs then made a blockbuster trade to get De'Aaron Fox from the Sacramento Kings, which is ironic because there's so many things that link these two teams together, because Mike Brown was De'Aaron Fox's coach in Sacramento. They both basically got sent at around the same time. Mike Brown ended up in New York, where now he's with the Knicks in the finals. De'Aaron Fox got shipped off to San Antonio, where now he's in the finals of the Spurs. So we're going to see two more links there. But the thing about it was, the Spurs technically owe a lot of their development and their progression to a guy in Chris Paul who, personally in my opinion, maybe his character is horrible, but the one thing you can say about Chris Paul is he knows how to get the best out of players. And as we saw watching him and Victor Wembanyama last year, there was a lot of moments where we saw Vic basically getting taught a lot of nuances in regards of how to get around the game and how to put yourself in winning positions. Now, going into this matchup, Chris Paul's not on the team, but the thing to note here is a lot of people are saying this will be a sweep. A lot of people are suspecting that the San Antonio Spurs will come in here and they'll just basically bully the New York Knicks out of the entire running. But I have something new to tell you. In my honest opinion, this is going to go to 6, maybe 7. The only reason I say that is the Knicks are playing out of their mind. And they're playing out of their mind due to the fact that they have a coach who believes in their play style, but also, pound for pound, the Knicks have had one of the best matchup runs you've ever seen in regards of making it through to the playoffs. Because the moment that the 76ers managed to knock off the Boston Celtics, I was willingly screaming, if the Pistons get knocked off, the Knicks are going to the finals. And it's purely because of how the Knicks depth chart works. Looking at it, at the starting point guard, obviously they have the Mr. Clutch, Jalen Brunson. At the 2, they got Josh Hart, Mr. Fundamental, Mr. Utility, the guy who does everything you need. At the 3, Mikal Bridges, someone who's had a lot of off nights but recently seems to be getting it together. And then obviously at the 4, OG Anunoby, and at the 5, Karl Anthony Towns. Now the thing about this lineup is this is a tall lineup. Outside of Jalen Brunson, this is a lineup whereby you really have to match height with height, because the shortest person out there is basically Josh Hart at 6'5". After that, it's Mikal Bridges at 6'6", and obviously we progress on with OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns, which when you look at the Spurs depth chart of De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Justin Champagnie, and Victor Wembanyama, they have the height advantage when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, but when you look at every other position that they line up at, they have somewhat of a little bit of a height disadvantage. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, that doesn't play that much of a pivotal role, but it's a thing of, in this modern day NBA, the Knicks have what is a lot of two-way guys that are athletic, which is how they've managed to allow Jalen Brunson to really thrive within the system, and which is why I really do believe this is going 6. And then coming off the bench, obviously they have Miles McBride and Jose Alvarado backing up at the 1, and then at the 2, they've got Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, and Miles McBride. And then at the 3, Jordan Clarkson, Jeremy Sohan, who doesn't get that many minutes in the rotation. And then obviously the big pivotal point, which is why I believe this will go to 6, they have Mitchell Robinson as the backup center. Now, the thing that we've noticed with Victor Wembanyama throughout these playoffs is, firstly, honorable mention to Chet. I've never seen a guy who is literally scared of someone so much that he shrivels up in the biggest of moments. But the biggest thing for Vic is when he's out, the Spurs look a little bit like a shell of themselves. Obviously, they have the likes of Dylan Harper coming off the bench, Keldon Johnson, Carter Bryant, Harrison Barnes, and Luke Cornett, which is a decent backup 5, but it's an issue of without Vic on the floor, if you have a decent 5, the Spurs do look a bit of a shell of themselves. I'll give props to Stephen Castle. In my personal opinion, the second best player on this team ahead of De'Aaron Fox, just because from what we've seen in this playoff run, that boy can ball. But I really do believe this is going 6, and I really do believe New York City is going to turn into Gotham City. The only reason I say that to you is this. Victor Wembanyama in an interview infamously said the Spurs don't have that much playoff experience, which allows for them to do stuff that they don't know is impossible, because in their heads, they don't know it's impossible. Again, they've never been here before. They don't know what's possible and what's impossible. They just know to do crazy things. But the thing that beats that is, the Knicks have been here. They haven't been to the finals, but they've been to the playoffs several times. The only thing that they've never had whilst being to the playoffs is they've never had a coach who really utilizes the best out of all of his players, which at the current moment, I'll give you this, Mike Brown is utilizing the heck out of this team. Like, Mike Brown is a coach who, he's been coach of the year before, and it clearly shows. He's coached in L.A., he's coached in Cleveland, he's coached in Sacramento, and now he's coaching in New York. And every time we've seen him coach, the one thing you'll say is this, he knows how to get a lot out of an offense. Sometimes his issue has been on the defensive side of the ball, but again, with a team that is basically built of a lot of two-way players that have height, because hey, Karl Anthony Towns can move his feet when he wants to. This is the perfect situation if you ever wanted to go for a ring. If I was somebody in New York, which I'm not going to lie to you, if the Knicks get a 3-something lead in this, 3-2 lead, I might just catch a flight to New York because I want to see this place turn into Gotham. This is someone who, if the Knicks get up on the Spurs and have one game to win, I guarantee you, bet your house, New York will win it. They will not do what OKC did and choke to these guys because, again, they do have the depth, they do have the matchups. It's just, this is a bit of an ironic matchup. The last time the Knicks were in the finals, they lost to the Spurs. The last time these two met in the finals, the Spurs were being led by their big man, young big man who was in his second year, in Tim Duncan, who ended up being one of the greatest power, not even one of the greatest power forward of all time. Whereas now they're being led by the flying Frenchman, not even the flying Frenchman, that's, Rudy Gobert, but they're being led by the alien, the Frenchman who seems to be able to do it all, and Victor Wembanyama, someone who has the ability to spread the floor on offense and then defensively protect the rim at a rate that is quite insane. The last time the Knicks won an NBA championship, they had a guard who had the ability to basically lead and carry the majority of the way, which ironically now, in these finals, again, they're being led by a guard who has the ability to take them all the way, leading them in scoring and basically just showing that he is Mr. Clutch, because the biggest issue they had with him in recent seasons was they had that issue of, hey, get off the ball, and when you're off the ball, it's a bit hard to play around you. Whereas now, as we've seen, Jalen Brunson has showcased, he can play off the ball. And when I say he can play off the ball, I mean as in he can really get it going off the ball. Now, the other caveat that I will throw in this is this. The Knicks and the Spurs, this isn't their first time seeing each other this season. The Knicks and the Spurs saw each other in the NBA Cup final. A single game where we saw the Knicks come out with a victory, 124-113, led behind none other than Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson's 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists, whilst Victor Wembanyama managed to put up he wasn't playing too well. He had 18, 6, 1, and 1, but obviously Stephon Castle showed up with 15, 7, and 12. But this is a 7-game series. Do I think the Knicks take it all the way? Maybe. But I'll tell you one thing. These two teams are saving the NBA, because this NBA Finals series we're about to witness between these two teams is going to be one of the greatest that we might witness for a few years. So ladies and gentlemen, strap yourself in, buckle up. We are about to witness greatness in these NBA Finals. And I am excited. I am low-key about to go to bed so I can wake up later, watch these, and still get enough rest to go to work. Anyway, it's been your boy Alvin Mike from L.T.A. Let me know down below in the comments, who do you think is going to take this? In my personal opinion, as you know, I am favoring the Knicks, mainly just because I like the depth they have, I like the coaching they have, because don't get me twisted, I do believe in the San Antonio Spurs coach, plus I do believe in Greg Popovich's intervention here and there by giving advice on what to do next, because remember, Greg Popovich has won this franchise a lot of rings, but the one thing that I do not trust too much in the Spurs is not having experience works well when you're playing against teams like the Thunder, who they have experience, but they don't really have that much experience. The freaking Timberwolves, who they have experience, but they don't really have that much experience. And the Trailblazers, again, another team whereby there's a lack of experience. The Spurs have somehow they've managed to find a way to play 3 teams whereby experience-wise, they've got less than 5 years worth of experience in playing in the playoffs, and majority of them their superstars have about 5, well, Shea has a bunch of years. Shea's nearly had a decade of years in the NBA, but there's not that much where you can scream for it. Whereas when you look at the Knicks, their entire starting lineup has been in the league for at least a decade. And, hey, if there's one thing you know about playing basketball, the old guys get crafty, the old guys get the stops. But yeah, down below in the comment section, let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to take these series? If you're new to the channel and you haven't done so yet, do me a favor, go and hit that subscribe button and turn post notifications on. We are trying to get to 150 subs before the end of June. It's only possible if you guys do it. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like it, do me a favor, go and hit that like button. Thank you for always supporting the channel. We are highly appreciating it. We will have more content out for you as soon as we can. It's been your boy Alvin Mike from L.T.A. I'll catch you in a bit. Deuces.